and you'll die.
Welcome back, guys. Jackpot DFS. Hope you guys had a nice slate yesterday. Did okay. Did pretty good in the NFL, so overall pretty good. Wasn't as good as I wanted to be. James Harden, they got crushed. Kind of an overscore there with the blowout. And James Harden pretty much didn't play most of the second half, which kind of helped not get me where I wanted to be. But that's DFS, man. We deal with that, and we know how that kind of thing goes. Moving on to the 10-gamer we have today. Obviously, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Doug with Jackpot DFS. Is the name of the channel. If you guys are coming back for a video and you guys know me, hit that like button, man. Appreciate the support and love that you guys give me each and every vid. But hit that like button, man. Helps the channel grow and helps me out a ton as well. Also, we use a nifty little tool called Draft Dashboard. Helps build my player pool. Gives you projections on fantasy point projections. Gives you fantasy hit for value. Basically, if a player like Westbrook is $9,700, it gives you a percentage of what likely outcome of him hitting that value at that target price is. And gives you cheat sheets of top players today, sleeper studs, etc. Also allows you to build a player pool. You can build up to 150 lineups that you can export over to Draftkings and FanDuel. You can try all that for 30 days for $1. Just $1, basically the price of a Happy Meal or a cheeseburger, or a dollar sweet tea like me from McDonald's. But moving on, guys, we're going to talk about the slate today. Going to do best 5 per position, try to give you guys a value play as well. Obviously, point guard today, first guy on my list is Russell Westbrook. Love him. He's been excellent since joining over with Washington Wizards. Is $9,700 on DraftKings today. Hits that 58% of the time. Points per minute monster, fantasy-wise, 1.39. Coming in at about a 20% ownership today. Last few games against Chicago has been pretty damn good. 54, 45, 72, and a 61, and a 36. Expect a big game tonight from Russell Westbrook. A lot of people want to play Stephen Curry today. I understand it completely. However, his price is really high. I'd much rather get to Westbrook, I think, with the stats and statistics, the things that Westbrook does. Not so much Curry. He's not going to get you a triple-double. I do think you'll get a more of a triple-double kind of play with a Westbrook than you would be a Curry. And why pray for $100 more, you can play Westbrook and get that targeted triple-double machine kind of theory outside of Curry, who's going to maybe get you 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but I think he doesn't get you that triple-double upside. Moving down the list, the next guy on my list I like today is De'Aaron Fox. Hits this 73% of the time at a $7,600 price. Pretty good at points per minute. It's 1.25. Projected for 33.9 points tonight. Last few games against Denver, a 35, a 39, a 40, and a 40. Love him today. Next couple of picks are kind of in the same range of price on DraftKings today. Malcolm Brogdon, $7,200 today. Hits that 62% of the time. Projected for 34.6 points today. Against Boston's had a 22, a 48, and a 41. Moving down $100 less, be Chris Paul. Hits this 69% of the time at a $7,100 price. A little bit better in points per minute, 1.20. Projected for 34.3 points tonight. Has been pretty good against New Orleans. 44, 36, a 26, a 33, and a 48 in the past against New Orleans. A couple other guys to mention that I like today. I'm going to go for a cheap value at point guard today with Thomas Ceneroski. $3,500. Projected tonight to have a little higher ownership for good reason. I mean, $3,500 is a really cheap price to pay, which is basically almost the bare minimum. Hits this 82% of the time. Projected for 22.5 points tonight, fantasy-wise. Against Washington, has been pretty damn good. 36, 31, 34, and a 48 last 4 games up against Washington. Could save you some salary to let you get some of these monsters like a Westbrook tonight. Just saying. Moving on to shooting guards. Some got to pair up with Westbrook to get you a 50-50, maybe even more. These two guys alone, if you paired Westbrook up with Bill, could possibly get you over 100 points by themselves. Bill has been pretty damn good since pairing up with Westbrook. $9,300 tonight, 60% of the time hits that value for the price. 1.36 points, fantasy points per minute. Last few against Chicago, he's been really damn good. 33, 44, or 45, 34, 47, and a damn 70. If you could get 60 and if you could get 60 and 60 or 60 and a 50 out of Westbrook and Bill in a line tonight, that's pretty damn good. That's already 110 points. Puts you if you can be able to line up that way and put you some studs in there. Sleepers, some studs and scrubs kind of build that could really put you in prime position to either catch the optimal or put you in prime position and at least put you in a good cash percentage. Moving down the list here, the next guy I like tonight is Zach Levine. Zach Levine as $8,400 tonight. He's been pretty damn good this season. He's kind of started off hot. 29th in the league against opposing shooting guards is Washington. Projected for 39.4 points tonight. Hits at the $8,400 price and value 52% of the time. Last few games against Washington, he's had a 43, a 53, a 64, and a 48. So strong consideration tonight for Zach Levine. Next guy on my list, I do think this could be a game tonight where Golden State actually shines and could be in position where they can get their first win of the season. Andrew Wiggins, $6,400 tonight on DraftKings, hits that 72% of the time, coming in at 18% projected ownership, projected at 33.1 points tonight. Against Detroit in the past, 28, 37, 33, a 30, and a 53. Like Andrew Wiggins today. Next guy on my list, depending on the news of Kawhi Leonard to see if he played tonight. I do think if Kawhi doesn't play, strong consideration for a guy like Paul George. He took that last loss to heart, took responsibility for that. The guys were embarrassed. I do think he'll come out strong tonight and try to put the team on his shoulders and try to score and go after it hard. He's been pretty good in the past against Minnesota. 38, 53, 67, a 40, and a 39. Strong consideration for Paul George depending on the Kawhi Leonard news. Another guy to consider in this range is also George Hill. Another cheap option you can kind of go to tonight that will save you some salary to get you some of those studs with a little bit better floor and a good ceiling. $4,800 tonight for George Hill. He's been pretty good since joining over with the Oklahoma City Thunder. $4,800 price, 18.2 projection. Could be better than that. He's been strong the last two games with a 34 and a 30. I think that projection looks a little bit better than that. And then another guy to mention if Kawhi Leonard's out tonight, Luke Kennard. I do think he could have a strong game. At $4,500, he has hit that value 75% of the time. Projected for 18.4. Last few games against Minnesota, the last two specifically, has been really, really good for him. 31 and a 40. So strong consideration for Luke Kennard tonight. I do think he's in play. Moving on to small forward. First guy on my list is going to be Brandon Ingram. He's been on fire this season. Started out the season with a 61. Had a 35 in the middle of that and another 54. He's at $8,200 tonight, but hits that 68% of the time. 1.25 points, fantasy points per minute, projected for 46.2 points today. Do like Brandon Ingram. The last few games against the Phoenix Suns, 22 of 40, a 35, a 51, and a 33. Love him today. As well as my next guy, Chris Middleton, has been really, really strong at the start of this season. 7,700 if you want to pivot down from Brandon Ingram. Coming down looking at that, you got to look at the points projection at 38.1. And I'm sorry, that Brandon Ingram projection is actually 38.1 as well. So if you want to pivot down and go to a Middleton, you could come down to that. He hits that 56% of the time. Has been really, really strong against Milwaukee. Against Miami. 47, 41, and 39, a 62, and a 41. Strong consideration tonight for Chris Middleton. He's been pretty on fire this season so far. Another guy to mention, Tobias Harris. Excuse me. Another guy to mention tonight should be in a great spot to keep doing his thing. $7,000 price, hits that 58% of the time. 1.06 points, fantasy points per minute, is projected for 35.3. Last few games against Toronto, 41 and 43 and 42. Strong consideration tonight for Tobias Harris. And then, like I said, I think Golden State puts itself in the driver's seat tonight to get their first win of the season. Kelly Oubre, $5,700 tonight. He has been poor, but I think he'll be this is a game to where he could shine and they can get back on rhythm and try to win some games. 68% of the time hits that value for $5,700. Coming in at 31.2 projected fantasy points tonight. Coming in at 8% ownership. Had a 42 last time out against Detroit. So do think they can turn it around and get their first win of the season tonight. Some considerable mention for Jeremy Grant. He's been pretty good since joining over with Detroit. One guy I wanted to mention, C.D. Osman, kind of that no-name guy that doesn't get a lot of love, but he does shine in moments. Going against New York today, I think C.D. Osman could be one of those guys that you don't hear about, but could have a nice game today. Projected for 20.3 points, fantasy points today. Last few games against the New York, last two was a 23 and a 27. But $5,100 price, that's not too bad of a price to pay today. So moving on to power forwards today. First guy on my list, obviously going to be Giannis. I know he's expensive, 10-8, but hits that 78% of the time. So pretty damn good for a lock. To get to mark that mark tonight and even possibly go above that. He's been pretty damn good against Miami too. 48, 54, 61, and 29. Strong play today in consideration for Giannis, obviously. Next guy on my list is going to be Sabonis. Favorite play of me today. $8,600 in price. Hits that 63% of the time. 42.3 projection of a score. The last few games against Boston, 34, 26, 47, 52, and 42. Should be a strong play today as well. And then moving down my list here, considerable mention for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, $6,300 in his price. Hits that 60% of the time. Fantasy points per minute, 1.02. Fantasy points projected tonight, 31.8. And then one more guy to mention, T.J. Warren. He's been pretty good for Indiana. This guy can blow up and go for 60 any given time. Hits that $5,900 price 56% of the time. Projected for 30.5. Coming at 8% ownership tonight. Last few games against Boston, 45, 32, 20, 27, and 26. Do like the play tonight of that. And just looking down, some considerable mention for Nick Bynum. I do think he's good when Kawhi's on the floor. However, Kawhi doesn't play. Obviously, we've seen what happened. You get the Hornets, Bynum with a 13. That's typically Bynum, what I'm used to seeing. So I do think he's good if you play him with Kawhi on the floor. Just in consideration, just a quick mention there. But moving on to center that I like for today. Obviously, Jokic is always in play. He's been a triple-double machine. Going up against Sacramento today, I think he's in good spot to succeed once again. Fantasy point monster, 1.45, projected for 47.2. Last few games against Sacramento, 62 at 33, 29, 33, and 75. But I will always mention Jokic is one of those guys who can go off for 75, or he can give you a floor total of like 33. Just one of those guys. He chooses and chooses when he wants to play big. And so far this season, he's done so. See if that trend continues. My favorite play at center today is Andrew Drummond, and for good reason. $8,700 in price. Hits that 70% of the time. Fantasy points per minute, 1.46. Projected for 40.7 tonight. Last few games against New York, a 66, a 50, a 54, and a 44. Love the play of Drummond tonight. Next guy on my list is Nikolai V. I just call him V because I can't pronounce his last name right. So we're just for Orlando Magic. Hits his price at $8,300, 66% of the time. Projected for 42 points tonight. 15% ownership coming in. Last few games against Oklahoma City, he's had a 36, a 32, and a 55. So love that play tonight. And see if I had a value guy for you guys, and I do. Of course, it's James Wiseman. $5,900 still on DraftKings. Do like the play of James Wiseman. Obviously, he's matchup proof. Even if they're in a blowout game, he's still going to get minutes on the floor. So I do love that price of $5,900. Cheap play tonight. I expect James Wiseman to get like a 35, 40-point game eventually sometime soon. That could come today. He's a big dude and got a long wingspan, so that could very well happen today against Detroit, who is 29th in the league against opposing centers. Projected for 22.1 points tonight, but that number could go up and be even higher than that. He doesn't have a history for them, obviously, because he's a rookie, but love a James Wiseman play tonight. Guys, that's it for the video. I know it's a little late in our day to get away from. We're about 4.5 hours away from lock. Wanted to get you guys something out today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget about Draft Dashboard. You can try that in a link of the description of the video for 30 days for $1. And you guys are always welcome to follow me on Twitter for up-to-date news, starting lineups, etc. I try to get all that starting lineups out, injury news, who's not going to play, who's going to play, etc. out before game time start. Some news will come later as the games are later in the night, and they don't put that news out right away before lock, which sucks, but that's the world of DFS. You got to pay attention to those things, because if you are not paying attention, you can really just donate. But anyhow, guys, you can always ask me some questions on Twitter. DMs are always open, as well as YouTube comments. But you guys have a great rest of your night. Hope you guys do well in the slate tonight, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.